The women tell all, and we are down to the final two. Welcome to Playing the Field, a Bachelor podcast. I'm Ryan Field, a sports anchor here at Eyewitness News in New York City. Joining me, our friends as always, our Bachelor experts, Jen Matarese from here at WABC in New York, and Gina Sirico, our Bachelor insider from our sister station KABC in Los Angeles. Ladies, what a season it has been. We got to the Women Tell All. We're going to discuss that in a second. But first, we were left on that cliffhanger last week. Kelsey writes the note, we need to talk to Joey. Joey gets the note, he's stressed out, and then we come to find out, Jen, it's all about nothing.
It's never been good news for me when someone says that. So.
I would agree. Gina?
I mean, he said it there. You know, when someone says we need to talk, it's never good. And so, of course, he was stressed out. I felt horrible for him because he reacted in a way I wasn't expecting. And it was just a little over the top. But, you know, he was able to slow his emotions down and try and hear what she was saying, but he couldn't, and it was just a mess. And I think that Kelsey definitely regretted all of that.
Yeah, I definitely think she regretted how she handled it and maybe the wording of said letter, because like you said, Jen, when you hear those things, it's usually not a good thing. But I didn't think Joey responded great in that situation. I thought there would have been a little bit more relief, a little more affection once he found out, oh my God. I mean, this whole time he keeps saying he's so worried about somebody loving him back. And that's basically what Kelsey is saying. Like, I missed you so much. I couldn't wait to see you. And I don't know, Jen, I thought he would have handled that a little bit better once he found out that it was, in fact, good news.
I was surprised, too. I would have liked to have seen him give her a hug of relief.
Yeah, something.
Something, you know, it's just, I guess he says he doesn't pivot quickly when he has to in those situations when his brain is wrapped around something. So hopefully, you know, maybe this will be a learning experience for him. Maybe don't judge it so quickly.
Is that how you saw it, Gina?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think you saw him kind of sigh, like heavy sigh once she got into what she was trying to say. But I do feel like in watching it back, he probably is like, wow, I totally overreacted.
Yeah, he really did. And that set the stage for the rose ceremony. And I think no one was surprised that Rachel, despite Gina's affection for Rachel, I don't think anybody was surprised to see her going home in this rose ceremony.
I love Rachel. She's such a lovely person. She's wonderful. But I did get the friend vibe more than the romance vibe. That's just the way I felt seeing the way they presented it to us, right?
And
there's more we didn't see. I don't know.
And there's always that, right? What happens off camera. But I think when you look at the three women and Joey's connection with all three of them, as well as maybe the chemistry, I certainly felt he had more chemistry, Gina, with Daisy and Kelsey, despite the fact that, you know, Rachel has so many good qualities about her.
He does. And the thing is, it's really we've talked about it. It's what we didn't see. When Rachel left, he was almost inconsolable there for a minute. He was saying, I don't want her to leave, you know, because who wouldn't want this person in their lives? And so you understand that, yes, there is a connection. And I feel like there definitely was a lot we did not see on that front. But yes, you're right. It does seem from what we were shown that the connection with Daisy and the connection with Kelsey is definitely on the stronger side.
I mean, bottom line, he said he couldn't get there. He wasn't in love with her.
Yes.
So, I mean, he cares about her, but more like a friend probably.
Yeah, and that's what made it so hard for him to say goodbye to her. I mean, you're down to the final three. You develop connections and relationships with these women over the course of the taping of the show. So obviously, when you get to this point, you hate to be the bad guy and you don't want to be sending anybody home. But somebody had to. So that means Daisy and Kelsey now get to meet Joey's family in the finale. We'll have a preview of that coming up here later in the podcast of what we can expect next week. In the most shocking Bachelor finale ever, as we always get the same spiel every week, which we love, or every season, I should say. And we have now the Women Tell All. And I think we were all kind of looking forward to that to see, the gloves coming off, the claws coming out, like how much there was going to be when these women were really going at it. And Jen, I think we saw a lot of that bubble to the surface right away. People were talking over each other and yelling at each other right from the get-go.
Yeah, it got a little contentious right out of the gate. It's tough because there's a lot of different personalities there. They all were after the same guy.
Yeah.
People are not going to get along. I think the drama that we saw on the show, it was kind of lame, right? We were discussing.
We can all agree on that. Yeah.
But if it wasn't that, it would have been something else, in my opinion. I think the personalities were just going to come out, and that's the way they came out. So, but Gina got to see this firsthand. I'm so jealous.
Gina, I kept waiting to see your face when they cut away to the audience. You with like a shocked reaction or a sad reaction, maybe holding up a sign for Maria.
In that room. You wouldn't have seen me in that room. We were in a separate room. The press who gets to watch is in a separate room.
Okay.
So we didn't get to be actually in there because, I don't have a poker face. So you would have definitely seen a lot of shock and dismay and what the...
Well, to Jen's point, it was cool that you were there. Kind of take us through what that's like for those of us and all the people listening that aren't going to be able to be part of a taping like this.
Well, I'll just say this. The one person that I always feel the most for in a women tell all, men tell all situation is Jesse Palmer. Because he does not, he was joking with me when we were here, when he was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. He was joking with me that he's going to bring his whistle. He's ready for any situation because you just never know how things are going to go. And these women all had opinions. They wanted to get their points across. And there was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, he joked about it at one point, like, ladies, this is only a 2-hour show. And he's right, because we were there for longer than 2 hours. You know what I mean? But it was a lot. Emotions ran high in this taping, for sure, especially when it came to all the drama with the women.
Yeah, we saw Leah, even they showed her leave at one point, all teared up. She walked off with a stagehand and then had to come back, and they showed her, you could hear the person in the audio, or the person who's in charge of the countdown, 5, 4, 3, and they were kind of showing some behind the scenes of her still really upset.
Love that.
So I
love that she's upset, but I mean, at the same time, I wonder if she expected so much being ganged up on in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you have if you were her?
It's hard to say. I mean, look, keep in mind, these women haven't seen each other in a couple months, right? From when they stopped taping, and a lot's been said on social media. And of course, they're now watching the show back, Gina. So maybe they're looking at things through a different lens. But what was your overall takeaway from the night as you watched this unfold live?
Well, a lot of them said that, in regards to Leia, when they watched it back and they watched the things that she was saying and they could finally see some of the things that they had not seen, they were like, girl, you are just totally perpetrating a fraud here. You're saying that you're a girl's girl, but you're acting like nothing like that. And so I could understand that. And I just wonder, was she not prepared for them, for the fallout? Because I feel like, we saw it. Jen and I, you and I, we've all talked about how the turn on Leia is, it was
quick,
very, very blatant. So for us, as mere viewers to see it, for them who lived, the women who lived through it and dealt with it, yeah, I get why they would be mad. But it was also Leia wasn't the only one that they, there was some anger for. There was just so much going on, and all the drama that we saw in this episode or in this season, which was one thing blown into 20 things.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, because of course, it was a lot. And to me, it just felt like we've said it before. It was overblown in the worst way. But for me, I'm glad it all got out. We knew that was going to happen. We knew it was going to all get aired out tonight. This is the place to do it. And now hopefully they can move on. I think that when Maria was in the hot seat, she was trying to make that happen. Let's just make it water under the bridge and let's move on. And think they did that for the most part.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments, and frankly, something we don't see on the Women Tell All, where they basically hug it out. I'm sorry, Sydney says, I watched it back, and what was the phrase that she used? Yeah, she was cringy watching herself, and we could all agree with that. So I thought it was nice that the fences were mended, and it was kind of like a kumbaya happy ending, and we can get into more of that individually. But Gina, one of the cool parts about you being there is that you had a chance to chat with these ladies individually afterwards, and you had a very important conversation with Medina in regards to mental health, and obviously that's such a big part of this, especially in the fallout from the show.
Absolutely. Medina is in the mental health field. And so for her, when she was talking during the taping of the episode, she was saying, she's like, I work in mental health. She knew when to step back. She was mature enough to be like, this is a beef between, Sydney and Maria, and I'm not getting in the middle of it because I don't need to. I believe it was Star. Somebody else said, oh, well, you should have just shut it down. But she was just like, it's not me. And I talked to her afterwards just about that moment and being able to kind of like get it all over with. So let's have a look.
I'm so happy that you were able to kind of like be here and clear everything up. So tell me how you're feeling after this night, after everything that's kind of gone on tonight.
Yeah, I definitely feel a lot better. I think like during the situation, it was honestly hard for me to speak. I'm definitely a person who likes to take time to process. I don't want to speak out of emotion, and so obviously the drama was surrounding me, but I wasn't saying a lot just because I feel like I wanted to be intentional and process what was going on. And also, I honestly felt like there were two people taking what I said and like using it as like a pawn to argue, which was very frustrating. And so I think like I just felt good being able to like say my piece and to stand my ground. I think as a mental health therapist, I think we have a lot of high expectations that are put on us. Like even like most of the like mean comments I've been getting has been like, oh my God, you're a therapist and you're doing this and you're a therapist. And it's like, I'm a human. And I think like as therapists or anyone in the helping profession, we're kind of put on these like pedestals of like, we're not allowed to be human. And so I think like while I was there, it was like hard for me to truly be myself because I feel like I'm expected to be poised, controlled, like elegant, and like I am that, and at the same time I'm allowed to have an opinion. So it felt nice tonight to be able to like have my opinion but still do it in like a poised and elegant way.
And it's great to hear Medina speak her mind about a very important topic. And that brings us to Lexi, who was in the hot seat. And Lexi really didn't have much to say when all the cattiness was going on, if you will. When the women were arguing amongst themselves, Lexi kind of played it close to the vest and didn't say much. But then she gets in the hot seat with Jesse, Jen, and basically tells her side of the story and whatnot.
She stood by her decision. She explained it again. And I think it was emotional because we had the golden ladies in the audience.
Yeah, right.
And, they were teared up, like hearing her speak about what her wants for her future are, what she hopes for herself. And that's very emotional.
Yeah, and she didn't have any regrets about what she said to Joey, and she made a point to thank Joey for being so understanding. And she basically said, Gina, that he was unlike any guy she'd ever been with in terms of how he handled this situation, and you had a chance to chat with her afterwards as well.
Absolutely. And she was talking about, standing by her decision and, of course, Joey as, setting the bar high. Have a look at what she had to say.
It's so vulnerable to bring something up with that brings in infertility and chronic pain. And for me, it's like a 10-year story of like not really knowing what's going on with my body. And so there's so much more to it than just like talking about the diagnosis and how it impacted me in dating. But Joey handled it so well and set such a precedent for the next person that I'm with. So I'm so grateful that I did. And I was able to touch so many women's lives, which is awesome.
So great to hear from Lexi, who is no doubt a fan favorite. Speaking of fan favorites, I think all you had to do was listen to the crowd's reaction when they introduced Maria at the beginning of the show, and again when she came into the hot seat. She was certainly a fan favorite this season, Jen, and maybe the fan favorite of the season. And she gets into the hot seat and defends herself, but I think her being so candid and true to herself is what everybody likes about her. She's so real, and we saw that again when she was in the hot seat. Yeah,
and she has such a good energy. She brings the fun. She brings like excitement to the show. And, she does. She speaks her mind. She sticks up for herself. But at the end of the day, she was so gracious to the other women and hugged it out, like you said.
Yeah, that was great.
I think she was positioning herself as a prime Bachelorette contestant.
And it's funny you bring that up because, Gina, when you talked to her, she basically talked about that possibility, and maybe her kind of mending fences there at the end of the Women Tell All was her way of showing that she can be in the good graces of these people, and maybe a good sign of a good character that she is to play the Bachelorette if it were to come to that.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think we can all agree that Maria is a good person and she's kind and she cares about other people. I do think that a lot of that was like, she knows. She absolutely knows.
A little gamesmanship, maybe?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She absolutely knows that she is in the running, that she is a fan favorite, that people are going, hard to say Maria for Bachelorette. It's everywhere. It's on everybody's feeds. Like, it's there. So I think that she knew that. And I do believe going up to Leia and hugging her when she thought the camera was off and, then hugging the women and being like, we could have been best friends. I do think that all is showing like, yes, I'm a good person. See, it's not me causing the drama. I do think there was a lot of that.
And
I said, though, ultimately, she's a good person. I did talk to her. She said, she talked about, I asked her, point blank, like looking back at it now, do you see kind of where things went a little awry with Joey when it all comes down to it? And here's what she had to say about that.
I think watching back, it made me realize, like, why wasn't I able to do it? I mean, I felt real feelings for this guy and I wanted to move forward with him. And it did make me sad that I wasn't able to, just let my walls down and just be in the moment. I felt great with him, but yeah, it's just always that what if it doesn't work out, and so when my walls go back up. I think I am still learning to kind of just be in the moment and just, it's okay to express yourself because the right man is going to stick through it with you, I think it's just always being afraid of the what if that kind of holds me back. But yeah, I'm still continuing to learn to kind of just let things, it's okay to put it out on the line. And if I get hurt, I'll pick myself up again. And it's okay because I would rather say what I need to say or let people know how I feel. Because then how am I ever going to know how they feel? Or that's why I don't regret how I handled things. I know I did some wild things on this journey, but I don't regret it because I said what I said, and even though I got sent home, it's fine because at least he got to know how I actually felt.
We love Maria. Maria also talked about the online hate, and that brings us to Rachel, and that was basically, we see her break down in the hot seat. Joey's there next to her. He's getting emotional seeing her break down, talking about the hate she's gotten on a variety of levels, even the worst kind on social media. And I thought Joey said something great where he's like, listen, you're going to shine light now on so much positivity that's going to come through from this. And I thought he handled that, Jen, as well as anybody could in that situation. But what happened to Rachel is certainly unspeakable and frankly shouldn't happen in today's day and age.
No, and I was a little disappointed that Bachelor Nation, people who consider themselves part of Bachelor Nation, would even say or do anything like that. And look at her. She's beautiful. She's smart. I mean, I couldn't believe that she had to deal with so much of it. That was the volume of it is incredible. And, I was proud that Jesse Palmer took it upon himself to make such a good, strong statement about it.
Yeah, and he made that plea to Bachelor Nation saying we should be uplifting these women who put themselves out there both physically and emotionally, and frankly should be applauded for that, not be taken down because of it or looked down upon or be getting a lot of the things that Rachel was getting on social media, Gina, and this is obviously one of the things that you spoke to her about as well.
Yeah. I also spoke to Joey about it quickly afterwards, and he said, you can have your favorites, but don't tear down. We love that, but don't hate and say horrible things to people when they don't deserve it. And, as Rachel said, simply because she got a rose. Remember, this is Joey's journey. It's you can have your favorites and you can have the people that you like, but it's not up to you. It's not your choice. It's his choice. And if he liked Rachel more, then that's fine. You know what I mean? That to me Like, it would anger me so much when I would see some of these things that people were saying to Rachel, and it's like, oh my God, you people are vile. Like, it's not right at all. And I did speak to Rachel about it, like you said, and she, she was just, her message, spread aloha and be kind. Just be kind. It's not difficult. So here's what she had to say.
Going into this, I was having some nerves, I'm not going to lie. I think I was more anxious to see and relive the video that I watched of me leaving. I was actually very excited to see Joey because I knew it was going to be a beautiful reunion between the both of us. But I was hesitant to speak out about the racism I was experiencing after the show, but I'm so glad that I did because I can't just sit and be quiet when this is happening. I wish I could say that things are changing, and they are slowly. But hopefully it's changing with us being able to speak out about what's going on. And people attacking me because I got a rose is insanity, and people upset because this is an interracial it was an interracial couple is so sickening to me. And I hope people can realize that ignorance is not bliss. You have to hear these stories. You have to realize that's happening in this day and age. And hopefully I was able to speak out what I was saying and people were able to get my message. I hope it came out the way it was. I was crying too much. I don't really know what I said. But I'm proud that I spoke up about it.
So Rachel, obviously a contender for the Bachelorette, even though we think it should be Maria. Gina, do you think it should be Maria or do you think it should be Rachel?
Put me on the spot, why don't you?
I just did.
I know. This is what we do now. It's okay.
This is what makes the pod great.
I personally would enjoy watching a Rachel season. I know that some people think that the chaos of Maria is going to make better TV, which I understand. I completely understand that. But if we're going down to the core of what the show is supposed to be, which is finding love, I do feel like it would be more successful with Rachel. I don't know. I don't know that Maria's ready. I just don't. That's just my personal opinion. I will watch. I will enjoy. We will podcast about it. But I do feel like I feel like Rachel would be better suited to kind of take on the reins of being the lead and not get caught up in being the lead, which I think is something that Maria might do.
I would say that, I think while Rachel may be more successful in finding someone that she ultimately will get engaged to, I don't know. I just really want to watch a Maria season.
Me too.
I want to watch it unfold. There is a guessing game as to whether or not it would work out, not work out. I don't feel as confident in that, like you say, Gina, but I want to see the Maria season. I can't help it.
Well, we'll see.
You are an agent of chaos.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be Maria, and maybe we'll find out after the final rose next week. Couple other quick thoughts here on Women Tell All before we get going. I liked Kelsey T, how she said that she has spoken to her dad, and they've now started talking again, which is obviously a great development after everything she spoke about, how their relationship was basically non-existent. And I love, too, how she said she's heard from other people around the country who are now reconnecting with their families who had gone through something similar where they had gotten, disconnected, if you will, from their families. So I thought that was a really, really cool takeaway. And we also can't forget about Jen, who was also in the hot seat. And the reason we haven't talked much about that is because she's going to be our guest on next week's Playing the Field podcast as we look ahead to the finale, the final rose coming next week. We're going to get Jen's thoughts on that and get her thoughts on being in the hot seat. So that's something to look forward to next week on Playing the Field. And then we had Joey in the hot seat, and I felt like it was kind of rushed, Jen. Like normally they have more time, the Bachelor or the Bachelorette, with their fellow people who they had already eliminated on the show, but it kind of went right through really quick. There really wasn't much to speak of about that.
He caught up quickly. They had a little bits of closure here and there. It was like, nice to see you. Okay, bye.
And then you like too how all the Bachelorettes still love Joey. There was no animosity.
No, I mean, usually there's at least one or two who are a little scorned, They're just like, this didn't go how I thought it would. And, he's kind of a jerk at the end of the day, or he gets what he deserves with that one. But you don't hear that.
Although I will say, Gina, and I don't know if you picked this up at the taping, Jen wasn't all smiles when she saw him. I still felt like there might be a little bit of not animosity, but definitely hurt feelings there on her end. Heartbreak, yes. And we're going to talk to her about that next week on Playing the Field. But did you pick up a little bit of that as well from Jen?
Here's the thing about Jen. She did say, like, she did feel a little salty originally about not getting a good goodbye, which is something we all talked about here when it happened. Why didn't she get a walkout in a conversation? And she said ultimately, that she told me afterwards that basically she looked to herself for answers on why, and she kind of closed got the closure that she needed on her own. She didn't need somebody else. So I think that's a great lesson, is that we don't need somebody else to tell us how we have to feel. And B, like, it's just a growth moment for her. And I think, that will only suit her, work in her favor later on when she does find that right guy.
And we're looking forward to talking with her about that next week on Playing the Field. Of course, one of the favorite moments that we look forward to every Women Tell All, the bloopers. And this edition was just as good as any prior. Go ahead and check it out.
What time is it? It's blooper time!
Hello.
Hello.
How beautiful is this?
How you doing?
Missed you. The batteries in my house. This is insane. All right. Well, I got... Oh, I don't know if I... Okay.
You good?
I'm gonna fall down on my ass.
What are you doing
I don't know what to do. My freaking mic is in my ass. Wait, this...
Do you want help? Okay.
Is it noticeable?
I'm noticing something else other than the mic usually.
Grazidi? Grazidi? Is it Grazday? Grazday. Does someone tell us how to say his name?
How do you say Joey's last name?
Yeah. Grazday?
Grazday.
Yeah, and just dive deeper. Oh. I can't talk.
I want to go to Minneapolis. Never thought I'd say that in my life, but I want to go to Minneapolis. Minneapolis? Minneapolis? Is it Minneapolis? No. When you slow it down, it's bad. Minneapolis. It's Minneapolis. I'm going to be a walking meme this season.
I really wanted it to work out, and I wanted to do, like, our little wedding, just me and him, like, with a little cake and champagne, and I was going to then take, like, a picture of us with the Polaroid. It doesn't even work, guys.
You got to turn on.
Oh.
The yellow button's back.
No, it's not.
My laxatives are finally kicking in.
Have fun!
Godspeed.
The fact that we're excited that she's about to do a number 2.
Everybody poops, even the girls in the Bachelor mansion. We all poop.
And there is a huge cockroach in front of me. Whoa!
No, you're in bed. Oh my God.
Did you see the amount of bees that are in everyone's drink?
Not bees. Not bees.
Hit. Oh, no.
I mean, Joey's been... What the hell? Looks like we're done, huh?
Jesse's voicing over of Joey, saying that he was the greatest tennis player ever and best Bachelor ever. That was great.
Funny.
That was one of the better moments of the season, in my opinion.
It was so cute. And I also started questioning my own ability to say Minneapolis. I was like, what?
Wait, is it really Minneapolis? Could definitely see that. And then, hey, guys, we're building up towards what we've been waiting for all season, the finale. He's going to hand out the rose. We hope. This is what's coming up next week on the finale of The Bachelor Season 28.
This is the biggest week of my life. I'm falling in love with both Daisy and Kelsey. And I can see a future with both of them. Daisy is someone who gets me to my core. It's a feeling I've never had before.
The truth is, I do love you.
With Kelsey, we have this physical bond and connection that's real.
I can't tell you how much he means to me.
Even though these women have given me nothing but confidence that they will choose me, there is still a doubt that they would say yes.
Has she expressed that she wants to marry you?
I'm just nervous
About what?
about it all working out.
It just felt like something was a little off with us. And it shouldn't feel this way. It keeps getting more real. And it's terrifying.
Today I woke up and I truthfully felt the weight of all of this. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and I'm still afraid that this might not work out. I didn't expect it to go that way.
So what to expect? Gina, we think he's going to pick someone, but the way the trailer looks, there's still the rose sitting there at the end of it. And Joey says, I'm guessing this has never happened before. What are we to make of what's to come?
I don't know. What does it all mean? I have tried multiple times. I've spoken with Joey multiple times to try and get some sort of something from him, and he gave me absolutely zero.
As well he should have.
So, no, he should absolutely tell me, but that's okay. I'm not upset about it. I'm ready for next week. It'll be interesting to see what the something we've never seen before.
Yes, what is that?
Situation is. And we'll see. Hopefully he walks away a very happy man.
We shall see. We're all going to find out together. And here's the best part. Once Joey makes his decision, if there is a decision to be made, we're going to hear from Joey and the person he hopefully picks right here on Playing the Field. You'll hear the interview exclusively on your official Bachelor podcast for ABC stations. So we are looking forward to that. Looking forward to Jen next week. A whole lot still to get to. Bachelor Season 28. The best is yet to come. Thanks so much for being here. For Jen and Gina, I'm Ryan. We'll see you next week.